Hey Maya, welcome to Just Like That.
Hey, thank you so much. It's pleasure to be here.
Lovely, lovely. So Maya, we've heard so many stories of people who've gone through difficult times, who've gone through challenging moments, but they have lived their life through those challenges. But you're one person, when I met you a couple of years ago, and you told me the kind of work that you were doing. And this year, when I started JLT, I said I have to have you as one of my guests because you didn't really go ahead and accept things for the way they were, but you decided to be the change. And as you brought about this change for so many people in the ecosystem, you sat back and said it so powerfully that if this is not change, I don't know what is. So, Maya, all the viewers of JLT would love to know. I don't want to give the suspense away because at the end of the interview and this discussion and this unscripted conversation, as a dialogue between the two of us, they will figure out if they have to Google you, what they should really type on Google. But for now, let's hear Maya.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so what, Sahil, you are absolutely right. We met a few years ago, and we met for the same cause in a conference, but the life is really moved on from that time. So just want to give this a little bit background to your and our viewers. Like, hey, this is Maya, and right now I'm sitting in a very small village, and you hardly have here like a roads or anything. It's like, somehow we get the electricity and the Wi-Fi, and I'm very fortunate to be here and speaking to all of you guys. So I grew up in this village. I born and brought up, and those days, 35 years back, there's no electricities, roads, water systems, anything. So I grew up in this very primitive kind of state. And my father was a blacksmith and carpenter. So I have seen all the hardship and a little bit farming. I have also worked in myself in a farm. And I have seen all those women, how they be through uh, the time when they have periods, and especially my mom. I never saw, she had any kind of hygienic methods in those days. And similarly, I grew up from here, and when I was starting my first time when 16 or 18-year old, I was in the similar other village. So I had all those. I also exposed to the cloth pads and the traditional taboo kind of stuff. And then when I went for one city to another city, and somehow I could not keep up that hygiene part, and I got caught up with some kind of infections, and that travel started when I was in an All India Institute of Medical Science. And there you can have n number of experts, but you couldn't solve the problem because you already messed up in your beginning time. So then
Right.
I got really thresh line that, hey, you really need to use hygienic stuff. And then, I went to US. I've been there for like now for 10 years. And then I saw, every time I visit my village, the things are same. Like 5 year back, everything was same. Nobody was
Which,
using
sorry, Maya, which
pads
place is
and
this? What's the name of the place?
yeah, so this is a name called Mehra Gaon. It comes in a Narsinghpur district, Madhya Pradesh, and this is the last village of this district. And that's why it is very, very discarded, and mostly the tribal area, because they don't get any kind of facility when you are living on the edge, like in the last village. So in the
Right.
borderline, actually. So this is why we were very, very, unfortunate to get any kind of good stuff.
And
Even
which is the
you can
closest city? Which is the closest
so
city to
city.
your village?
So closest town is a Gadarwara, and the city is like 4 hours is Bhopal, and 4 hours is Jabalpur. 4 5 hours. So it's like, we are in the middle of both of the cities, but it's not reachable, because if you don't have a road, then people won't come here, officers won't come here, nobody is here. So then this will be all, like other villages in entire nation. So the thing is, when you grew up in such villages, and I was very fortunate to get 8th grade school from here and move on to one place to another place to get my masters, and then got the admission in PhD program in US. So I was fortunate and the luckiest one who migrated from here, who have seen both the world, like United States and India, which is like in a primitive stage. And I can
Right.
see the difference. Like, problems are not big. It's just like nobody's there to fix that, and nobody's there that to recognize this issue and the problem. So when I keep coming from my, from during my job days, research days, to my village, I see things are still same. Like the girls, they don't know what is sanitary pad. The women, they are very shy. They can't disclose their issues when they have it. So slowly the things are getting, worse. Like women are getting more issues. They are getting, like, other lots of problem. Then the root cause, I realized, like, why can't we provide the sanitary pads? So this is how I started like 5 year back. And then, yeah, so right now we are sitting in the cleaning, yes. So this is the
Wonderful.
little
But
bit of the.
right. But what is very interesting to note, Maya, is like you said, right? You did your schooling till 8th standard in your village and then moved on. But wouldn't people generally get their daughters married? Or would you have an opportunity to really go ahead and study? Because I would assume that a lot of parents would want to get their daughters married.
Yeah, so the typical tradition is like that. So right now I have like 10th grade school, but in my time it was only 8th grade. So 8th grade, only 4 5 girls used to make up that 8th class, and after that they get married, or before that also they get married. So it was like this tradition is still there. The girls are getting married in early age. They are becoming mom in very early age, one after other, and their health is like terrible. So nobody's here to talk about those issues. Girls are still, they are not able to move to the another city for their higher education. They are only studying, whether it is 8th grade or 10th grade. That is less than 10% girls, I'm telling you, in the entire village. So think about, like, if all the girls can study here and they can realize their issue, they can realize their rights, which is like another revolution. But we are still in a very backward area where education is not the priority in the society. The marriage is the priority in the society, because here people, they have different thinking, because once they get the married girl, they're all the liabilities is like, they are free. So this is typical. Still people, they have the similar mentality when they have limited resources, like, not like properties or wealth and other things. So this is like typical tradition here.
Right. But Maya, what is very interesting is, even though you went to do your higher studies and you went to the West and you spent the last 10 years in the US of A, for your PhD thesis, for your research work, you decided to come back to India, back to your very own village, and try and change the year-old tradition of using a cloth and introduce sanitary pads, right?
Yes, absolutely. So so I went to US for my PhD in chemical engineering, but I didn't finish it. I dropped it because I wanted to serve the patient in the hospital and do the real research. And my college was the engineering. So this was the correction part. But I never stopped dreaming about like something big, which is like, what if people get like PhD and other higher degree, and they just engage in their day-to-day life, job and money and wealth, and this is never ending things in US, and people never come back once they are there. So I don't want to get trapped in that. I always keep my village, my people, my community, my surroundings, and my hardship in my childhood. So this is why I came back and I started doing something little bit by my own. And then now I can see, like, there is a change. People really want to come forward and help you because they never see this light and the leadership before in especially in this topic, which is more taboo over here. The women and the men, they cannot talk about it. So this is really a big thing. I mean, I didn't do anything like very special or any rocket science. This is just a similar like kind of a process which you have started and it is ongoing. People are joining. वो एक शेर है कि मैं अकेला चला था सफर में, लोग आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. तो इसी तरह से I mean this is ongoing thing.
And what you really started as in a very small manner today is a huge foundation that you have that really looks towards women hygiene issues and taking care of women health, right?
Yes. So first, because I wanted to start this project, which is menstrual hygiene, like how to create the sanitary pad. So I've been searching this last 8, 9 years. When I saw the Muruganathan TED Talk on YouTube, I think most this kind of me that I really wanted to do similar things in my area. So then I started searching like the machines, even the Arunachalam Muruganathan. I went to Coimbatore to meet him, to saw his work, and then I started in my area. So to start that, we started manufacturing the pads, which is no tension brand name. We hired those women who really need help in their day-to-day life, whether they were singles or some had issues, some are like labor or daily wages workers, some kind of women we hired and we trained them as a worker in our factory, and they are manufacturing the pads and they are also empowering themselves, and they are getting the free sanitary pads so that they can also use for themselves or their daughters or their family members. So this is a kind of like overall you can say like collective efforts which is solving many issues like employment, empowerment, and also the women, they are very confident in their health because they are knowing the actual effects, and their life is improving. So this is like we started before in 2017 before the Padman, and then I was the one who took this initiative. Like, okay, manufacturing pad is a very simple thing. You just need to you just need machines and all that thing. But how about educating the tribal girls? How about going in the remotest area and finding those girls and women how they are using pads or clothes or whatever methods in their own way, and what kind of tradition they have, what kind of taboos in their society. So I was educating myself in that journey in 2018 when the Padman was there, movie was there. So people were already knowing like, hey, this movie is coming, and we also have the Pad women, something similar kind of girl or women who's doing this already work. So this is how my name came as a Pad Women of India, because I had covered 15 districts and millions of girls in those in 2 months, and reach out to so many villages. That's why this name came, and I keep educating girls and women in school, in hostel, in village, in wherever I want. I go. So this is kind of like, it's not a 1 day or 1 month or 1 year approach. It is ongoing because you get users every year, new users every other year. So there are a lot more changes. So that's why this first project came. And then we moved on to next project, another projects. So this is how Sukarma Foundation become a little big in all those 4-5 years. And we find like a lot of people who are helping us like you.
Superb. So I think, wow, this is actually such a brilliant thing that you've done, from education to empowerment to employment. The three E's, if I may call them so, Maya. And what a brilliant story. Thank you so much. I know your network has been very choppy in the village. I know electricity comes for only a few hours in a day. Wi-Fi is a challenge, but you managed to overcome all those challenges and join us on Just Like That. And of course, while for the world, you are the bad woman of India, but for me, you'll always be a very close friend, Maya. Thank you so much for joining us on Just Like That.
Thank you so much, Sahil. And just like that, we will meet again. We will discuss more social issues and try to solve the problems. And this is the message where I'm sitting like the great things are not coming from the big cities or big areas. You can sit in a jungle or in a place like me, and you can do many wonders if you want. So this is my kind of a wish that I can stay in my village. I can connect it to the rest of the world, like sitting in somewhere in Indian other cities, and I can also connect to the US and rest of the world. And this is like the great message, like for the youth also, that they always migrate to the big cities and lost their I think interest in the glamour, I think. But some of us, like, we can also sit in a remote area and do, like, solve some kind of problems or issues. So thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure talking to you and your team, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Maya. More power to you as you continuing shaping India's future with good health for women, hygiene, and safety. All the very best.